Hey there, E here from eEats and Healthy Treats with day 18 of the last 40 days of summer with a new salad each day. Today's salad is Schrute's Farm Salad featuring red and golden beets, goat cheese, spinach, red mizuna lettuce, and sunflower microgreens with a basil vinaigrette consisting of 1 small bunch of fresh basil, 3 tablespoons olive oil, 1 tablespoon red wine vinegar, 1 clove or 1 tablespoon of garlic, half of a tablespoon of honey, and 1/4 teaspoon salt. Let's get into it. Starting with the beets, these are washed, stems and leaves are all removed. I'll place them into a shallow oven-safe container, and then I'll apply olive oil to each one. I will not just dump it into the bottom of the pan. This will help the skins from getting dried out. Once these are all oiled up, I'll add some salt to enhance the flavor while these roast. Then over to the oven, where these will bake for 40 to 50 minutes in a 400-degree Fahrenheit oven until tender with a fork. Next, we'll mince up the 3 cloves of garlic. I like to start by cutting off the bottom portion where it attaches to the garlic bulb. Then place the side of my knife over each clove and give it a good smack or two with my other hand. The peel will pretty much fall off after that. I'll then gather the cloves together and slice them up. Before mincing, I'll add a dash of salt to help break up the fibers and pull out the moisture. And then cut these this way and that way in every direction. Once minced well, grab a small bowl and add about 3/4 of the garlic to it. It will be divided between our beets and the dressing. I'll grab a mixing bowl and add the remaining garlic to it. Then take a handful of fresh basil leaves. These come from a container on my deck. Always nice to have fresh basil on hand. I'll pluck the leaves from the stems. Once the stems are discarded, I'll gather all the leaves tightly together and start chopping. The basil will then get added to the mixing bowl with the garlic. We'll then add the red wine vinegar and oil to the bowl. And give it a good whisk. I'll give that a quick taste. It needs a little salt, so I'll add about 1/4 teaspoon. And then mix that in. And give it another taste. But wait, I think it needs a little honey. I'll add about a half to 1 tablespoon. This will break down the acid from the vinegar a bit and help amplify the basil. Honestly, I was going to add some honey to the beets after they were cooked, but I think the honey belongs in the dressing instead, not directly on the beets. Let's then whisk that in. And give it another taste. Perfect. Moving on to the beets, I let these cool to the touch before handling. I'll start by cutting off the root ends and then the stem ends, and then peel the skin off with my fingers. I must confess I did not travel to PA for real Schrute beets. Instead, the red beets came from my mom's garden, and the golden ones came from a farmer's market. After the beets are skinless, I'll slice them into rounds about 1/4 inch thick. The red beets have an earthy flavor, which may take an acquired taste to eat them by themselves. Beets are a good source of fiber, folate, which is the real version of its synthetic clone folic acid, which is suggested to women who are trying to conceive or who are pregnant to help prevent birth defects of the brain and spine. They also contain potassium, iron, and vitamin C, among other things. Amongst the beets' many health benefits, they are also said to help increase exercise stamina. The golden beets, on the other hand, are milder and sweet, so if you're unsure if you like beets, I suggest starting with the golden ones, which some people refer to as yellow beets. The color of the golden beets I think are really pretty, but so are the red beets. I wonder if the lines mean anything like those on the trees, like it's so many weeks old depending on how many lines you count. Probably not, but that's what I think of when I see those lines. I digress. Next up, we'll prep the fresh spinach. These are bundled with the stems on one side. I'll make one big cut to remove the majority of the stems. I'll then spread them out on the cutting board and pick out any bad pieces or rip off any large stems that are left behind. I'll then move those to the side. And then moving on to the red mizuna. This particular lettuce has a spicy flavor, which reminds me of radishes. Due to this, I'm using it sparingly. I'll rough chop it and then set it to the side. Over to the range, I've heated a non-stick pan over medium-high heat. I'll add some olive oil and a teaspoon of butter. I'll stir that around to melt the butter and then add the remaining 3/4 of the garlic we minced earlier. Give that a quick stir. And then add the beets. I started out adding one at a time. But what the heck, I got garlic that needs stirred, so we'll just add the rest in all at once. Then mix it all around. I'll continue to stir for about 2 minutes. I'll add a bit of salt about halfway through. I'm just adding it for some extra flavor to the beets. So these won't stay on the heat long, so once everything is slightly browned and everything fragrant, we'll remove them from the heat and add them to a bowl. Let's dish this up. Starting with our spinach, I'll rip it up a bit and cover the bottom of the plate. I'll add a bit of that spicy red mizuna. Then add the beets. Won't the white be proud? Take about half the goat cheese, which is approximately 1 ounce per salad, and crumble that on top. I'll then add the sunflower microgreens. I got these from a lady at a farmer's market. She had about 7 different types of microgreens. These do have a nutty flavor like sunflowers and offer a great touch that's packed full of micronutrients. Now I'll give the dressing a quick whisk and drizzle that on. Now for a taste. I'll try to get a bit of each ingredient on my fork. This salad was full of flavor and lots of nutrients. The garlic added extra flavor to the beets. The greens all paired well together. The creaminess of the goat cheese and the basil dressing all formed a delicious salad. I hope you'll give it a try. Until later, be blessed and act in love. Enjoy!